Video 11. October 19, 2010. Sure, you can control the atmosphere, but what about water? If you do not have enough water, it is hard to make the planet viable, right? Water is no problem. There is much water in the galaxy, in the form of ice. There are planets that are almost exclusively made of ice. To transfer is simple, we install two transport gateways, tuned, one in a source of water or ice and the other on the planet in question. Special equipment is used to remove water or ice and send it by the gateway continuously. Soon, a great quantity of water will be transferred to the new planet. This water will be always doing its cycle on the new planet because once there, it never leaves. This process was done on Earth as well in the old days, but, Mythi, the theory of our scientists is that the water was brought by meteors drop by drop. Could you honestly imagine that? Ask your scientists, why only the Earth has been graced with such terabilion wet meteors and the other planets in your solar system received only the dry ones. This theory has no scientific basis, it is only a conjecture. They do not even know how they themselves appeared here. Well, if so, why was water brought only to Earth? They could have put water on Mars, Uranus, or Venus, too, right? Why did they not? Your solar system is very new in terms of consolidation. The easiest to handle in terms of atmosphere were Mars and Earth, being in areas with more suitable natural temperature to humanoids. The other planets would require much more effort to equalize. When they decided to colonize your solar system, Mars was one of the options. They put some amount of water there as well as plants and animals later. After some years, they found that the Earth took much advantage. Mars lacked the richness of mineral characteristics as those found on Earth's crust after formation. Mars has water in lakes, but, the greater reserve is groundwater, in the subsoil layers. Then they decided to start the colonization of your solar system on the planet Earth. When the first cooled thin crust appeared, they put enough water on Earth, wondering if it would be more permeable when cooled, enough to absorb much of it. But the calculations of permeability did not hit much with the results, and the Earth got a large stock of water on its surface. They could have removed the excess water, but it was very good as well. The little blue planet began to live. Well, actually, I came today to give you more news on the move. 3 large spaceships are in Earth's orbit right now, including the Canis Major dwarf that was recently by Uranus. Which is the size of the country?
Australia.
To give an idea, not the greatest, but also, not small. They have their energy fields activated and cannot be seen, but your scientists will notice small distortions in brightness in some quarters of your night sky. It may be that you will have problems with some of your satellites. They sent several smaller ships to the Antarctic base today. I'm not allowed to divulge any operation as I would not have such information. Maybe they are only making observations. As soon as I can, if I can, I will give you more details. Mythi, do you have some news to tell us about the movement of aliens here? Yes, I have some information. 8 spaceships of our fleet are here with us. Our role is to continue to patrol and observe. Our orders are to stay on alert, on some issues yet classified. But I can tell you that none of your atomic missiles will be operational from next November. The movement is growing here, 4 large Pleiadian spacecrafts joined the 3 who arrived a few days ago and have landed in Antarctic. There is a large movement of reptilian ships on the planet, especially in North America and China. A study was made of your Sun, on the expected increased activity and influence on the planets in your solar system. Your Sun will go into great activity from now to 2013, and this will really change the climatic conditions a lot. The region of the planet Earth that has more inhabitants, its east, is with great activity, spaceships patrolling the perimeter. We are monitoring the core of the planet and also the pressures of regional tectonic plates to predict future events. There is a great rig that for some time has been buried in Siberia in a specific fissure and another installed in the abyssal zone of the South Atlantic Ocean near Antarctic that could plunge the planet's center to make drastic corrections in the nucleus if necessary. One of the spacecraft that monitored the activities of your Sun some time ago was from an independent humanoid republic. That makes this kind of research for several galactic entities, including within our own solar system. We know them well. They are highly specialized in suns and their cycles. In the main spacecraft, there is an amazing crew of 80 million people. The entire race lives on this ship. It is like a planet, just totally artificial. They cannot get too close to smaller planets, causing possible disturbances in their orbits due to its huge mass. They are always in open space. If they have to get closer, they do so in the least intrusive way possible. The Community Galactica is investing time and resources to make sure that this new colony on Earth will have the success we expect. Mythi, these rigs you mentioned, how they will act in the nucleus of the Earth. Well, I'm no geophysicist, but they have the ability to regulate the temperature of the nucleus to avoid a big expansion. I'm not sure how it works, but it is a technique used for a long time to contain excessive influence of external radiation. That can trigger increases in temperature and pressure. They are always used as a last resort to prevent major disasters. They should not be used, but it's good to know they are available. Carlos asks, Mythi, do you know any specific details about the Anunnakis race? Carlos, Anunnakis was the name given by the Sumerians to a race that had been exploring their region at the time. They were descendants of a race now living in the Pleiades, like so many other races of humanoids who live there. These beings are very tall today with an average of 3.5 m, but, in those old times, they were close to 4.0 m tall. Some of them died here in the old days, struggling with an ancient reptilian race whose intention was to take the planet from the Earthlings. They defended you against these invaders. Hopefully you will find traces of them from the time of the Sumerians, some of whom were buried here. They should be large skeletons. It was the same race that built the old spaceport of Stonehenge that you asked me about. They no longer come over to your solar system, but they have big spaceships, and maybe one day they will come back here just to visit. Their interests are now directed to new colonies in Aldebaran for more than the last 2,000 years. Like I said, they did not come from the planet you call Nibiru. That planet has no inhabitants. When they arrived here the first time, coincidentally Nibiru was near, and from that observation, the Sumerians deduced that the planet was the home of strange gods. Nibiru does not and never will be in any condition to be inhabited. Mike asks, Sunday, October 10, 2010, October 10, 10, is said to be a very important date for us here on Earth due to incoming energies which are related to raising the frequency of both humankind and the planet, Gaia, to new levels. This is referred to as
ascension,
and is in preparation for 2012 apparently. Are you involved with this process? Are you even aware of it? Is your frequency being raised too? Mike, as I talked about earlier, the Earth will move into a new stage, new era, from December 2012. Until then, many things will happen as the frequency of the planet is already changing and may already be felt by many of you. We are aware of this, and we are here because we participate indirectly in this process. It is part of what we're doing in our regular missions here. On our planet, we go through the ages as you have, but at different times. We will not be upgraded at this time. Now is your time, and how you are a new colony with excellent chances of ascension are being observed and studied in this special period. After the dust settles, you will become part of something much greater than your limit of traditional boundaries. No longer international but intergalactic. Steve asks, Mythi, do you know why nuclear weapons systems have been disabled by objects above nuclear facilities? Steve, as I said earlier, all your military installations containing atomic weapons are under strict surveillance. In that moment of possible events, Pleiadians are neutralizing the navigation systems of all these guns until November, not to prevent an attack on the spacecrafts, but to protect your people from your own governments. Steve asks, Mythi, can you explain specifics about the chemical makeup of the environment on your planet, i.e. oxygen levels etc.? Steve, our planet has an atmosphere very similar to that which the Earth should have, 79% nitrogen, 20% oxygen, 0.8% argon. Carbon dioxide 0.05%, 0.01% other gases and water vapor. All the planets inhabited by humanoids or reptilians have breathable atmosphere for all races. What varies in some cases is the atmospheric pressure, which may influence a barometric adjustment required for a visit. Nowadays, your atmosphere is extremely polluted and destabilized. This condition will change radically in coming years, for better of course. Steve asks, can aliens read human minds? Steve, telepathy is a technique that was developed over many millions of years by various races. It works very well with members of their own race and inferior. Superior races communicate telepathically with other races only if they want to do it. Undeveloped races like yours will not get this feature soon. These and other features can only be developed in an ideal environment with the proper frequency of vibration of the planet. We can communicate with you by telepathy, but you cannot answer, so it would be a one-way conversation. We can anticipate what you are thinking when you are speaking to us, even without uttering words, but we do not have access to your records or memories in the brain because you do not have the ability to enable data stored for transmission to other brains yet. Comment, Mythi always appeared with a kind of long rain cape, with a cap hood covering his head, leaving only the face showing. Today I saw him without a cap on his head, and Andromedans have no hair, but his head and face are well proportioned. Similar to bald earthlings. The eyes are slightly larger than ours and more oblique.